LA 21-126. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill on a Wednesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. A lot to get to over the next 2 hours. We start getting closer to another game weekend. JD Picaleb on 3 Sports with us in 15 minutes talking National College Football. Adam Sparks going to join us. He covers the Tennessee Volunteers for the Knoxville News Sentinel. He's with us at 2 o'clock. SEC Power Rankings coming your way at 2:30, opening hour every Wednesday, brought to you by Sunshine Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer over there on Airline Highway. New equipment, used equipment, it's all there. Check them out at sunequip.com. All right, Jeremy, the news of the day, to an extent, was the buzzwords that come out when you hear players-only meeting. You hear that, and everybody's antenna perks up, and you start looking around. What does this mean? Is this good? Is this bad? Who's taking control? Is it leadership? Is it... Your thoughts before I get into mine on the players-only meeting.
Non-talking point, just totally overblown, not that big of a deal. They happen way more than you think, and honestly, it's probably normally a great thing, especially at this point in the season. Just getting the guys from the leadership on the team and kind of getting everyone on the same page and kind of understanding expectations. I think that's probably what this one was about. I don't think it's like guys missing practice and guys not showing up and guys are missing the team playing. Like normally when you hear players only meeting, you think those type of things are going on, but none of that stuff's going on with this football program and this football team. So not a big deal. I think it's something that's just got to get overblown from the outside.
Yep. I could echo all of that. Look, when you hear the term, there are a lot of different reasons why this may happen. If you've got a bunch of guys failing drug tests, everybody's talking about transferring, you've lost 3 games in a row, the coach is about to get fired, and it's a disaster, and you hear players only meeting, well, that's trying to put the Titanic back together with duct tape, and like that is your program's a disaster, and you're not going to get there. Some of that, not all of it, but some of that was going on last year, where it was just over the last 2 years, the culture had fallen apart. And there were certainly plenty of guys out there playing as hard as they could, which is why they won late-season games both of those years. But as a whole, the program was not in a very good spot, and that's why there was a change made. You hear players only meeting, and a lot of people will spring to the talking point and say, oh, this just means you're not very good, and there's panic-inducing. And okay, well, that may not be the case. This players-only meeting, from what Jaden Daniels communicated and what the receivers are talking about, was pretty simply like, we're not throwing the ball well enough. Keep getting open, and I'll make an effort to get the ball down the field a little bit more. And that's not what he said, explicitly, but Brian Kelly said that's the plan, and Jaden Daniels says they're getting on the same page. So this, honestly, you can call it a players-only meeting if you would like, or you can call it 10 guys in a room talking about their football season, if you want to call it that. Like this is, It sounds a lot more important than it is. Yeah. If I want to take some sort of overlying talking point from the first 3 days of this week, it is that it may go horribly wrong, but LSU's going to throw the football down the field this week. I mean, It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you kind of saw this coaching staff kind of have those emphasis, especially, I know it's just Southern and everything, but we see K-Sean kind of have that first game where you really don't have the success you want to have. It was a huge emphasis. Hey, we got to get this guy the ball. I don't care if it's a run play, screenplay, whatever it is. We got to get the ball in this guy's hands. I think now anytime you throw for 5 yards and a half, I think everyone in that building knows that's just absolutely unacceptable, and they got to fix that. They got to turn that around quick. So I think being at home, having the crowd behind you, and being able to have these weapons on the outside, who I think this Tennessee secondary, they aren't world beaters. They gave up 450 yards passing to Anthony Richardson, and I don't think their receivers have anywhere remotely close to the talent we have in this locker room. So I think, now more than ever, they know when you're going against that quarterback, that coordinator, and that team, and how fast they're going to be going. You're not just going to be able to, go through a sleepless first half and, have 5 yards passing in the second half. It's just got to get out of hand. So, yeah, now more than ever, I see them making it a huge emphasis. We got to get some targets down the field. We got to give these guys some one-on-one opportunities. I mean, that's what me and you fell in love with when we went to camp last year. We're seeing these guys go up and make plays time and time again, and those just guys, they haven't had those opportunities this season. So hopefully Jaden can give those guys some more chances, because I really think they match up well against this Tennessee secondary.
So I went back and looked at the Jaden Daniels highlight tapes from his freshman and sophomore seasons, starting at Arizona State. 2020, the COVID year, a little bit of 2019 as well. And a little bit of last season too. And the question is, okay, is he pushing the ball down the field in these games? And the answer was yes, he did. He threw some some crossing routes over the middle. He threw some deep balls and hit some touchdown passes. The theme of those throws were guys were wide open. And I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, I'm looking at him hitting deep balls down the middle of the field, and he did. He hit 8 or 10 of them. But they're guys running free. I mean, for those of you that locked into 2019 highlights, all of the pandemic, and have some of those highlights kind of burned in your brain, you remember the first touchdown of the A&M game through the air where Jamar got behind the defense and he's just running clean. And Joe hit him on the stride, and it was a 65-yard touchdown. They looked like that. Arizona State had a guy that had beaten the defense. There was maybe busted coverage. It was very rarely one-on-one jump ball situation, or trying to fit one with the safety coming over the top. It was, we got him on this one. And I still think he's going to make those throws if they're there. They're just not usually going to be there. And so the emphasis is going to have to be, okay, what do you see? Is it worth the shot? And Jaden Daniels has not seen anything that he felt was worth the shot to this point. That's got to change in a hurry.
Yeah, it does. And I think anytime you have receivers that match up well, and I think you really got a bunch of, guys who can really go up and get those jump balls. When you look at BTJ, when you look at Malik, who's not the taller receiver, when you look at Kayshawn, these are really, really athletic guys who I think deserve those one-on-one opportunities. You saw, when you were playing Alabama, I know it's 2019, it's like that magical place, but, Joe's throwing those jump balls up, and he's giving those guys opportunities to go make plays. And sometimes, you may not come down with those, but you got to trust your receivers. It's a strong suit of this offense. Like, you got too many guys who can make plays and get open time and time again. We have to do it now. I think now more than ever, you got to, give those guys chances to make plays. But it's kind of a slippery slope, especially with Jaden, because you know how much he values the football. He doesn't want to turn it over. To think that it's going to be just a total 180 and he's going to go out there and just light it up, I would love to see it, but I just don't know. I think we're still going to see a little bit of the Jaden we've kind of seen throughout the season.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see mostly that. You're going to see a guy that does take care of the football and that does run it more than most quarterbacks would. I think if you we'll go back to old LSU highlights, because that's what we're talking about here. If you go back to the Sugar Bowl against Illinois, when Rohan is just ripping it 35 yards down the field more often than not, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about 6 or 7 shot throws over the course of 4 quarters. And I'm not talking about all go routes, but some, over the middle of the field, deep corners, just keeping teams honest so that they can't creep up and try to say that we're just going to take things away. I was listening to Jacob and T-Bob this morning, and they were talking about you hit the shot, quote unquote, down the field to Malik to kind of ice the game against Mississippi State on that 4th and 3. And that was kind of a check, and they had the look they wanted, and they got one-on-one. And he did put the ball up there for his guy to make a play, and he did it because he's a better player than the guy Mississippi State had out there. And so when we talk about shot plays, it don't all have to be 50 yards in the air, but just one-on-one opportunities down the field when you create those matchups. And, I don't know if LSU's done a perfect job of creating enough of those matchups, but they have the ability to do that. And that's the one play I would go back to and say, okay, that's really good.
Yeah, that was definitely really good. And I think in a lot of times when you look at the box score and you look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, you're like, man, what is the coordinator doing? Denbrock, he's terrible. What's going on? And I continue to watch this tape, and guys are just, he's drawing up plays to get guys open. And so it's up to Jaden. I know in that Mississippi State game, Kayshawn was getting a lot of double teams. And even in this Auburn game, he was getting a lot of double teams. If I'm a quarterback, I'm licking my chops. I mean, we just saw Joe Burrow against the Dolphins. They're double teaming Jamar every chance they get. What does he do? Go to T. Higgins, man. T. Higgins is getting one-on-one time and time again. Go take your one-on-one matchups. And to me, at this LSU roster, if you want to double team Kayshawn, great. That's amazing. We still got Jure, still got Malik, still got Jack Best, still got BTJ, and these guys can make plays, man. So if you're going to take away a weapon, to me as a quarterback, that's an easy one-on-one matchup that you're staring down the barrel at. You got to give those guys opportunities to make plays.
As problems go with the football team through a month, this one feels fixable, maybe too strong, improvable, if I want to use a more mild word.
Mm-hmm.
This one feels like something they can significantly get better at. There have been times, if you just can't stop the run, man, that's hard to get better at unless you just put 10 guys up there. Mm-hmm. If your defensive linemen just every single week are not good enough to throw off offensive linemen and get stops, like that's just so hard to get better at. This situation, when you've got a problem here, it's that he's too careful, and you know that the weapons exist. So I think I've been kind of labeled as a little bit pessimistic on this year's team, a little too optimistic when it comes to the springtime at the box. Maybe that's the case. But if I'm a little bit pessimistic on this team, I think I go back to being what I think is just realistic. I think they can get better at this over time. I don't think they're going to become, a juggernaut offensively passing the football, but I think they can get better at this specific aspect of the game of creating a little bit more chunk plays. They're last in the league in 20-yard passes. I think they can be better than that.
It's going to be up to the quarterback. I think, Denbrock's done a phenomenal job calling the plays. I'm seeing guys open. If I'm seeing, guys just can't get open, you're running the same plays over and over. It's just nowhere to put the football. The quarterback has no time to throw it. Jaden's sitting back there surveying the field, man, and you got receivers who are really, really talented. I think it's really on him, to make that next step in progression. He's had those points. I know it's against Southern and New Mexico where, you see him making those type of throws. It just seems like doing this Power 5 teams that we play against, he's a little more gun-shy. So hopefully we can kind of see that Jaden that kind of stepped up against New Mexico. Obviously, the beginning of that Southern game, I thought he played lights out. Maybe that's the version we see because he had so flashes, like even that big throw to Malik, like you said, on that fourth down. He has shown that. It just has to be a consistency throughout a football game because these slow starts, you can find a way to win. We love the grit. We love the perseverance from this football team, but I don't think any head coaches wants to be, stressing out about to have a heart attack in every fourth quarter because you've dug yourself in so big of a hole. So hopefully Jaden can come out lights out. The crowd will be, packed. It'll be sold out Tiger Stadium. Hopefully he can use that momentum to kind of get that boost in the passing game that we need.
Congratulations to Adam Starnes of Denham Springs. Adam's our Week 5 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. He wins a $50 gift card to Twin Peaks. Don't forget, make your picks for Week 6 by 5 p.m. tomorrow. That is, of course, Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com. Your Wednesday opening hour brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer. We'll come back. J.D. Pickell of On3 Sports with us next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll take a closer look at the Seattle Seahawks. Russ Mitchell joins us. Overrated, underrated. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We're jam-packed. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour on a Wednesday here, brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer located on Airline Highway. Website, sunequip.com. Welcome in our weekly spot here with On3 Sports' J.D. Piquel, host of the Hard Count with J.D. Piquel. J.D., how are you, sir?
Doing phenomenal. How are y'all doing on this hard half of the day?
Doing very, very good. Let's go back to LSU Auburn over the weekend. Tigers get down 17-0. They throw for 5 yards in the second half, get some turnovers, find a way to win. Your impressions of that one?
It's just kind of becoming a theme. Like, it's happened for the third time now in Power 5 competition. The offense just sort of taking their time, leaning back, and then second half hits, and it's like, all right, I guess we'll start to score some points here. I guess we're down. We'll start to play with some more sense of urgency. Really intrigued to see a couple of things. One, if that happens again against Tennessee, can they find a way to keep pace and score with them? And then two, how much do they unhitch the trailer for Jaden Daniels? Is he going to be a guy that still sort of tries to hold the ball and really take care of it to a fault? Or is it like, hey, we got Keyshawn Butte on our team, we got Malik Neighbors on our team, we're going to let these horses run? So I'm excited to see the game plan, but it has to be more vertical attack. It's got to be a little bit more throwing caution to the wind for Jaden Daniels this Saturday. But I was, you never say no to a win. So to get a win against that Auburn team and come back faster was obviously a good thing.
We'll talk Tigers and Vols a little bit later. I still want to go back to last weekend. Some significant quarterback injuries. We understand that Bryce Young is struggling with the shoulder injury right now. KJ Jefferson left the game with a bit of a a bell ring situation, and Sam Pittman said today that he still hasn't practiced yet this week. Max Johnson goes out with a little bit of a hand injury. Which of these is the most significant?
I think it's a Texas A&M injury because of who is having to replace Max Johnson. And I don't mean to pick on Haynes King, but they are just a very inept offense when he's in the game. And that I realize that's kind of contradictory to what I just said about picking on him. But you saw it even when he came in the game against Mississippi State. 2 interceptions. He likes to give the ball to the other team. For the position that A&M is in right now, where the heat is starting to turn up a little bit more around that program, and they're going to be under even more criticism if they take this L this week to Alabama, like I think a lot of people expect them to. This is not a good time to have your guy go out of the game for A&M. So for that reason, I think the other programs can probably compensate a little bit easier, especially Alabama. But for the spot that A&M's in, very big deal to lose your guy, Max Johnson, at starting quarterback spot.
I agree with you there. Not many people picking the Aggies to win this Saturday, but if that were to be the case, what do you think that would look like for that Texas A&M football team?
We previewed it a little bit on our channel, and in a word, chaos. It would have to be just chaos in spades for A&M, because I think with the potential of maybe Jalen Milroe playing quarterback, they become a little bit more one-dimensional. Now, we saw them be one-dimensional against Arkansas, just run the ball however they felt like. But I think for A&M, it would have to come down to finding ways to, force some other way to get extra possessions, whether it's turnovers, whether it's special teams. I think you really have to start looking in between the margins and finding something extra for A&M. So in short, see what we can find and, kind of swing for the fence here. But, the reality is whenever you swing for the fence, you swing big is also a pretty good chance that you miss big. So, thoughts and prayers with A&M this weekend.
The Hard Count with JD Piquel on 3's YouTube channel every single day. JD, we're Lane Kiffin fans on this program. I don't want his team to win, but I think he does a really good job. They get a nice win over Kentucky over the weekend. However, when I watched the game, I feel like Kentucky let it get away. What was your overall impression of that one?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. They were inside Ole Miss territory, 3 times?
Yep. And
each time wasn't able to get in the end zone, whether it was a fumble. I think Kentucky really has got their own issues on the offensive line. They'll have a good test against South Carolina this week to kind of see where they're at in the SEC. But, yeah, if you play that game a number of times, if they play 100 times, I think Kentucky probably ends up winning 75 of them. To have the game go the way that it did with Will Levis having his finger pop out of place and put it back in on that safety and, the multiple fumbles, just a lot of plays that I think you look more at Kentucky and say, what are you doing? Then you look at Ole Miss and say, wow, good job. Now, again, you never say no to a win, but I think Ole Miss was fortunate to win that game in the fashion that they did.
This is probably an unnecessary question, but hey, it's talk radio. Let's just toss it out there.
I love it.
Any sense that maybe Mark Stoops feels like he may have bumped his head on the ceiling here at Kentucky, and if Nebraska or Wisconsin, or if things fell apart at Florida State, which it doesn't appear that way right now, but if that happened and somebody called him, would he pick up the phone?
I think you'd be a little bit irresponsible not to, right? Kentucky in some ways is such a great job because you're in the SEC, you're making SEC money, and you have fan bases that are realistic. On the flip side of things, though, like you said, it's hard to not think that they've reached their ceiling at Kentucky. You got a quarterback who's probably going to go in the first round, and Will Levis, regardless of how people feel about him in the college football world, the draft world loves him. And so, yeah, as a whole, this would be the year where you're probably going to have a chance to, in their minds at least, compete for a trip to Atlanta. And it still feels like they're going to be on the outside looking in with just the resources and what they're up against in that conference. So I think a place like Nebraska would be really appealing if you're Mark Stoops. Now, at the same time, I don't pretend to have a super tremendous gauge on what his, propensity would be to answer that call. But you go back to that conversation, too, of do you try and be happier than happy? Because for Mark Stoops, it would be going to a program that, lost their coach for a reason. It's not a good reason because they could job in the NFL. It's because he wasn't getting it done. He's out the door. So there'd be a lot of rebuilding there. But to answer your question more directly, yeah, I think you take the call. How long is that conversation? I think that's something that remains to be seen.
Speaking of head coaches, I think you have to tip your cap to the job Lane Kiffin's done with that Ole Miss program. But how entrenched do you think he is with that job? Maybe if the Auburn jobs open up, how long do you think he'll be hanging around the Ole Miss football program?
So I have very, very unofficial, and sources is even a strong word to use, and I don't know how much stock you can put on this. But the feel around Oxford, from my understanding, is that there is sort of a weird vibe, if you will, between the people in Oxford and Lane Kiffin, because he's still renting there, even though he's been there for a while. And it feels like just the nature that things went last year with the coaching carousel. His name got thrown in the Miami job a lot. Like, his name kind of always seems to pop up in these coaching circles. And you're looking at Lane Kiffin, and he's got an SEC head coaching job that a lot of people would kill for. And so the fact that his name continues to pop up in these circles tells me, okay, he's probably telling his agent, hey, throw my name in there, or at the very least, his agent knows he wants his name thrown in there. And I don't think that's by accident. I don't think people are just sort of grasping and saying Lane Kiffin is a guy for this job just because it would make sense on paper. Like, I think he actually, at some point in time, does want to get a different job. Now, which job is that would, be superior to Ole Miss? Who really knows? Miami's a pretty big brand, and I don't know how many more brands will come around that are like Miami. But as a whole, yeah, I think he's not going to be in Oxford for the next 5 years or so. I think he's probably on the clock, and whether that's right or wrong, I guess what we can talk about.
It is what it is. Your thoughts on Mississippi State and Arkansas this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. If there is no KJ Jefferson for Arkansas, which it sounds like there won't be, that's going to be a really, really intriguing game, because how much do you have to adjust the offense? Doesn't sound like they're going to Malik Hornsby, who would maybe be a more similar flavor to KJ Jefferson with what he does with his legs. So I'm really intrigued. But, I mean, I'll tell you what, if there was a team that I had to play without my starting quarterback the following week, Mississippi State would be pretty close to the bottom of that list, because they're going to score in bunches, pressure on you to do the same offensively. And so to keep pace with a team like Mississippi State, who Arkansas already has problems on the back end, they don't need to play an air raid offense right now. I mean, that really spells trouble. I think Mississippi State actually wins that game, and that would be a huge gut punch to Arkansas to lose the game in that fashion.
Georgia just been sleepy for 2 weeks, or there's cause for concern there?
Yeah, man, what's going on with the Dogs?
I don't know.
Kent State, we were kind of like giving them a pass and saying, okay, it's Kent State. I get it's hard to get up for that game. You go to Mizzou, and we were all kind of waiting, like, for the duration of felt like 3 quarters. Is Georgia going to be Georgia at any point, or are we just going to kind of keep having to watch this game? I'm curious to see what a rivalry kind of atmosphere looks like for them this week, just because I get it's probably hard to get motivated to play Missouri. I get it's hard to get motivated to play Kent State. But, I mean, when you get some of those big boys in there, you can't show up and be 70% effective Georgia and expect to win, especially if you're playing a team like Tennessee, which they're going to do here pretty soon. I think it's first week of November they play. They got to get it figured out offensively. It doesn't seem like they have the guys on the outside. They got a tight end room that's freaky. They got some running backs that are still sort of getting their feet under them. So it really isn't so much to me a matter of, is Georgia good enough? I think it's a matter of experience and sort of getting acclimated. Because, I mean, 8 new starters on defense. They're looking like they're still figuring things out in terms of, big starter week to week. And, I mean, they have the ability to play for a national title again, to get to Atlanta and all that. I think a lot of us expect them to do something of that. But, I mean, I think the experience is something that's really rearing its head right now as far as the defensive side goes and some of those other new positions on offense.
All right, Tennessee heads to Tiger Stadium on Saturday, 11 o'clock kickoff. You think the Tigers can limit Tennessee offensively, or is else you're going to have to score with them?
I think you would rather it be they can limit them offensively. Scoring with them feels unlikely. I mean, Tennessee's the best offense in the country right now statistically, so that makes sense. One edge that you look at if you're LSU, though, is that front seven. I mean, they got some freak shows, as y'all well know, being so close to that program, with Harold Perkins being a guy as a freshman. I mean, B.J. Ojulari was committed to Tennessee at one point. So if they can throw that first punch early and keep it from being 10-0 in the first quarter, or, having it be any sort of lead that's more than a score, I think that's going to make it really, really fascinating being in Death Valley. So I'm excited to watch it, though. But that front seven's a big hinge point for me when it comes to who wins this game.
Follow him on Twitter at JD Pickell, Pickell, the hard count with JD Pickell on 3's YouTube channel. We appreciate the time. We'll do it next week.
Gentlemen, y'all are awesome. Have a great weekend.
We sure will. JD Pickell on 3 Sports, our guest every single Wednesday at 1:15. We'll have Adam Sparks with us. He covers the Vols He'll be with us at 2 o'clock. Our power rankings coming up at 2:30. Opening hour each and every Wednesday, brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions. New equipment, used equipment, parts, service. You can do it all with Sunshine Quality Solutions. That is your Louisiana and Mississippi John Deere dealer. You can find the Baton Rouge location located on Airline Highway, or you can check out the website, sunequip.com. You can browse their inventory. You can order parts or get some tips for self-repair. Sunshine Quality Solutions bringing you the opening hour each and every Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. We'll come back, play a little over-under for the weekend to come. That's next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every day here on Hunt and Hill. And all month long, we are thrilled to tell you about Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of racing and built a business providing citizens across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class racing events and triathlons right here in Louisiana, working in crowds across the globe to experience this place we call home.
Look, we know that research shows exercise, even a small amount at any age, is beneficial to your overall health. And Fresh Junkie Racing's goal is to get more people on track for a healthy lifestyle. So on one hand, they're helping people get healthier. On the other hand, they're doing a great job for Louisiana's economy. The Louisiana Marathon alone, $5.2 million in terms of economic impact on our great state. Fresh Junkie Racing is an awesome, awesome part of our great state, and we're thrilled to celebrate them here all October long. LWCC celebrating and elevating champions of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah! Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Lsu for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Lsu a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è
Jimmy out for the Wednesday edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at City Slice Pints and Pizza on Shine Street. Last day of the MLB regular season. We got a college football game and picks from all of our handicappers. Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, 6 to 8 p.m. City Slice on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
104.5 ESPN and Acura Baton Rouge asks for your support in helping us raise money for Folds of Honor. Folds of Honor is a nonprofit organization which provides families of fallen or disabled service members educational scholarships. To donate to this important cause, visit our website, 1045ESPN.com. This week, everybody who makes a donation is going to be entered to win tickets to see Judas Priest November the 18th at the Raising Cane's River Center. Donate now at 1045ESPN.com. From Acura Baton Rouge and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. I may have just learned something, or it was a typo or something, but I'm not familiar with this. I've paid attention to baseball fairly closely for the last 20 years. The Angels just sent out a tweet that said they have officially agreed to terms on a 1-year contract with Phil Nevin to become the team's field manager. Is manager short for field manager? I've never heard that term in my life.
Yeah, I guess it is then, if that's what they're calling it.
I've never seen that ever. It sounds like he's being hired to help make sure that the grass grows and the dirt's ripped.
Yeah, that definitely does. But yeah, I've never heard that in my life either.
Maybe I'm just late to the party, but shout out to the Angels for hiring a field manager. That's great for them. All right, let's play some under. Planet of my one. Let's do some over-under for this coming weekend, Tigers and Saints. This has been the talk all week. You'll just make it the first talking point. Tiger completions of 20 yards or more. We'll take some yards after the catch on this one, but of 20 yards or more, 3.5 in the game.
Ooh, 20 or more. Jaden's my guy?
Yeah. I mean, unless you think Muss is going to take the job and go throw 4 of them.
I gotta go under here. I just it's hard for me to make that assessment. I can't. I'll take the under. I just haven't seen it enough. I would love to see it. That'd be amazing. I'd be jumping on the seat, probably
Tennessee
pissing
secondary's giving up a lot of yards.
I'll be probably pissing off a lot of people in that press box this weekend. But I'll have to take the under here for my sanity.
All right, I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to get it down the field a few times. They break a few tackles from that Tennessee secondary. So just got to get 4 of them. I think we can do it. John Emery touches in the game, 8.5.
Yeah, I mean he had that last week, so
Yeah,
I'll take the over here. I know that fumble's gonna not make Frank Wilson very happy. He's probably got him doing extra ball security this week and ingrained that into his brain till he's having dreams about ball security. So I'm gonna take the over here. I just think the talent that he is, it's hard to keep that guy off the field, and he got a sneaky almost 10 touches last week. So I'll take the over.
We got Coach Boone, Denzel Washington making Petey run a mile with the ball. You got famously people walking around campus with balls, taking balls to class. Anything that Coach Wilson does for fumbles in terms of making you handle things?
Oh, well, there's something called the gauntlet drill. I don't know if anyone's seen that kind of viral video of I think it was Nick Brissett, and he's like getting like yelled at to the top of the lung, and he's like running through these pads or whatever. But if you haven't seen it, it's something called the gauntlet drill, and it's very painful. It's these pads that are just ripping your legs apart, slapping you on the stomach, like you think you're gonna throw up. It's miserable. You don't ever want to do the gauntlet drill, Coach Frank. He's gonna run you till you want to throw up. So
I've never done the gauntlet drill.
Yeah,
when I was in college, I just sat by the pool, had a few drinks. Not as many gauntlet drills as you, I would imagine. John Emery touches over 8.5. I think I would take that as well. This one I think is interesting. This will be a talking point the rest of the week as well. We saw Harold Perkins in the middle of the field a little bit of spying action on Robbie Ashford last week at times. Done it with other people as well, but we know that Hendon Hooker is very, very athletic. We know that he runs a little bit. Plus, the Vols do run the football a little bit as well. Harold Perkins tackles 8.5.
Man, if he was just every down starter, I'd pound the over. But it's tricky because they take him out, they put him back in, they have a package for him. But I just can't ever bet against my man Harold, so I'll take the over here. Look, that kid's just special, man, and they're going to run a lot of plays, so I think that even helps him, out and being able to get those tackles. So yeah, I'm riding with Harold on this one.
All right, Hendon Hooker, I think very much in the Heisman discussion. We'll have that conversation a little bit later, but against Florida, we know he threw for over 350, ran for over 100 in that game, had nearly 500 yards of total offense. I would like to think that LSU could put up a little bit more of a fight on their home field, so I'll put his total yards of offense at 365, passing and running.
When I see Ashford hit you for almost 400
Yeah,
total,
he did.
It's scary, man. It's scary, man. This offense is it's lethal. They're very efficient. They're gonna run a bunch of plays. I care more about the points at the end of the drive. You can go up and down the field all day long. That's fine and dandy. Woohoo! Congratulations. Gotta get the ball in the end zone. And so I'll take the yards. I'll take the over on the yards. I just hope they can kind of get them in that red zone, shut that run game down. And it's, obviously those passing windows are a lot tighter down there. So just keep them out the end zone. I think they're gonna get the yards. I'll go with the yards.
The first thing I asked Brandon Taylor about on Saturday was these busts that LSU had look fairly fixable. They got their eyes on the quarterback as opposed to the guy they were covering. Now, it's veterans. I mean, Sage Ryan's not really old, but you're halfway through your second year. A lot of guys only play 3 years. I mean, if you're only a veteran for your last year, that's a short window of time. But none of these guys are like true freshmen that haven't played. I mean, they're older players. They should be able to cover a lot of that. The one where Auburn got the touchdown where there was nobody there, they ran a route that was in breaking, and then they broke back to the corner, and I can't remember who the safety was. He just thought he was going to cross his face and continue the other side of the field, so he just lost him with his eyes, and the guy turned around and ran right behind him. Some of that stuff feels fixable. Hopefully they don't have the bust. That was the first game they'd really had busts. And they look to me to be fairly fixable, so we'll see what that looks like. This one I'm real ambitious on, but we'll see what you think. Tiger Stadium seats about 103 now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got actual attendance. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. Actual attendance 93,000.
That's like before the expansion of the of the upper deck and what's that, the south end zone? But I'm gonna take the over. I mean, if it's sold out, you got a big ranked opponent coming to town. They got their smoky unveil that they're rocking. But no, I'll take the over. I think especially to start the game, it's gonna be electric. You may have some late people straggling in, not knowing what time to show up to campus. But I think when that ball gets kicked off, you'll be well over 92,000.
I hope so. I think it's going to be a really good environment. I really do. I know that people are bummed out, but there's a changing of the guard in Baton Rouge. You are 2-0 in conference play. The weather's going to be nice. You don't get to see Tennessee a lot. It feels like there's going to be a really good environment. There wasn't anywhere near 93,000 in there for Florida last year, and it was still pretty loud. Having 10,000 out of there is noticeable, but it's not that egregious like it would be if you had 10,000 missing at Vanderbilt or whatever, where it's a quarter of the stadium. But it's going to be close. There's just a lot of people who have tickets that don't go because they don't like this or that. And so we'll see. But 93,000, I think, is a reasonable spot. We'll go to Saints and Seahawks now. Geno Smith, they almost scored 50 on the Lions last week. Geno Smith passing yards against the Saints, 275.
I'll take the over. I think, obviously it's Geno and everyone calls him a bust and he's just not playing well. But the weapons, man. He has DK Metcalf. It's me. He's definitely a top 10 receiver. He's played his way into that this season. He's playing out of his mind. Don't know how they didn't win as much at Ole Miss with him and A.J. Brown, but DK is one of the best. You still got Lockett. And that offense is clicking. They're playing well. Geno Smith is top 5 in QBR in the NFL right now, and I think that's something that can't go overlooked. So, yeah, for just the yards, I'll definitely take the over for Geno.
A lot of factors here. Michael Thomas catches 5.5. Got injury. I don't know if he's going to play. You got Dalton out there. Can they get in the football? Been a little clunky.
If he's playing, I'll take the over because if I know Andy, he's definitely gonna target his number one receiver. He knows just how important that is, especially if you have the audacity to leave those guys one-on-one on the outside. I mean, you saw him last week. Get some receivers going a little bit. So if Michael Thomas, you put him in that mix, I'll take the over 5.5 catches.
And lastly, Mark Ingram, 3 yards per carry in this ball game. Alvin Kamara still got that rib injury. Feels like Ingram's going to be featured with Murray out the door. Can he get over 3 yards per carry?
Ingram?
Yep.
Over 3. Yeah, I'll take the over there. I think he can get over 3. I mean, that's not saying much. It's not, you're not going out there beating the world with over 3 yards a carry. But so I can't disrespect Mark that much. So I'll take the over for that.
Right. Just hoping. I just don't have too much trust in him. All right, we'll come back and close out hour 3. I want to talk about hour 3. Hour 3. What did I just see? There has never been an hour
Going
3.
AFR on
Usually there's like there's a number I see that gets in there. That's the second time I've just totally slipped. Hour 1, we will come back and close. I want to talk about a couple of injuries in the Southeastern Conference, but I just scrolled through Twitter and somebody said something really stupid into the media. We'll talk about that to close it up. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford, check out the website. Check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. Tell you about the inventory, Jeremy, tell you about the deals. But the service is also an awesome, awesome piece to the Bayou Ford family. I know that nobody likes getting their car serviced. It's a drag. It takes a lot of time. We don't plan for it, but it's got to be done. It's one of the biggest investments that you make, and you got to have your car taken care of. So Bayou Ford is going to make it simple for you. They got 6 full-time drivers on staff. They will drive a loaner to your house, hand you the loaner. You get on with your day. You go to work. You get the kids to school. You do what you've got to do. They take your car to the dealership. They perform the service that needs to be done. They'll drive it right back to you. So you haven't missed a beat, and your car has been serviced. Bayou Ford takes service to that highest level, and they will do it. The convenience is second to none at Bayou Ford.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2002 Ford Expedition Timberline. That's tinted windows and a ready-to-lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
Bayou Ford, check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating.
Week 6 in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and Liberty kick off at 7, immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer located on Airline Highway. They got your new equipment John Deere. They got your used equipment John Deere. Parts, service, you can do it all with Sunshine Quality Solutions. The website is sunequip.com. Browse the inventory there, order some parts, or get some tips for self-repair. Sunshine Quality Solutions bringing you the opening hour each and every Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. All right, Jeremy, I was just thinking today about when I was listening to the SC teleconference, like, man, this is just not all that interesting. And it's usually not when you have press conferences because everyone's coached what to say. Well, Brandon Council, who is a 6th or 7th year player at Auburn, he's been there forever. He opened his mouth just now, so we'll see how this goes. He was talking about Georgia's defensive front, who they will play this week, and said if we keep them out of their third down packages, we can demolish them, I believe. You got Auburn's front just demolishing Georgia. We thinking that's going to be the case here coming up Saturday?
Well, are they having like a buffet competition?
No, it's not going to be an eating competition. They're gonna line it up, put some pads on, go play some football.
Sure, it's football. It sounds like some chicken wing eating competition.
Could
that's
be
the only
wings.
thing. That's the
could be
only
axe
thing.
throwing. Could be putt golfing games.
Yeah, if it's football related, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, good sir. This is just
you didn't demolish San Jose State.
Look, you just scored 0 points in a half, and you're up 17-0. You're not demolishing anything, brother. Like, calm down a little bit here. Now you're poking the bear. You're poking the guys on the mountaintop right now. I mean, look. The best thing you could have did was just keep your mouth shut. Georgia looked a little sleepy these past 2 weeks and just kind of cruise in there and try to have a big-time performance. But now Kirby has the full attention of that locker room, and it's like,
if we think that Georgia was sleepwalking against Kent State and against Missouri and that they just need to be whipped into shape, this certainly will help. I don't know. I'm of the opinion that usually if you need the motivation, like, who are you? But Georgia may be overlooking Auburn. It's a team that hasn't played very well. Already lost a couple games. Probably should have lost the Missouri game. San Jose State was what it was. Maybe Georgia overlooks them and still thinking, yeah, we're awesome. We'll just show up and win. Now you challenge them, say you're going to demolish them. It may not go as well as you think.
Yeah, that's a lot different than a receiver saying he's better than another receiver. Telling you're going to demolish an entire front in a football game, like, now you're getting everybody riled up. So I hope you know what you're doing, buddy.
Maybe,
it's just, to me, that's just,
maybe it gives Auburn a shot of life. Maybe they need to get fired up to play.
Oh yeah,
get your boys ready. That offensive line at Auburn.
I'm terrified if I'm a Georgia Bulldog right now. We're so worried about Auburn. They probably won't even have a coach next week. So we'll see. I mean, you never know. We've seen crazy things happen in football, but I don't think this is going to go good for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah.
No.
I saw it on there. I went, well, that's just something we probably need to bring up. Maybe it was a better topic for take it or leave it to kick it around there, but I looked at it and I went, that doesn't sit perfectly right with me, Mr. Council. Your team has scored a total of 6 points in the last 3 second halves. Your offensive line stinks on ice. You can't block anybody. You don't beat anybody. This probably isn't going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but it just doesn't sound very smart.
It's not, man. I think you got to understand where you are. And sometimes when you are, let's say Georgia was going to say this and like you feel like they're being a bully to this bad Auburn team. But when you're just totally bad, like you said, you scored 0 points in the second half. You turn it over left and right, got receivers throwing the ball to linebackers. You got guys just getting the ball ripped from them. Shout out Cole Moore, MVP, by the way. But, it's just bad, man. Just keep your mouth shut, bro.
That really did come back to bite. I'm not – the point is not to belabor it. Like, we're not trying to rip on a kid. And I don't think we talked about it very much on Monday. But, like, you're going to do that and then go up there and then throw the ball to the linebacker directly to him and then allow a safety to come in and rip the ball free. That's a tough scene. I mean, it's not.
Hey, but look, he had more yards than Kayshawn.
He did.
Yeah, congrats. Hey, you lost though, buddy, and you probably a big reason. The GOAT. He's the GOAT of the Plains right now. I guess you could say that.
That's one of those words that it's lost its meaning because GOAT means greatest of all time and like the guy who screwed up. So now it's like it's got a double meaning. You got to kind of use some context clues. But yeah, I mean Kayshawn is the GOAT in terms of single game receiving yards. Coy is the GOAT as well, but it was just on the other end while throwing the football around on the Plains. That was not a great play call. I guess if it works, it's a great play call. But
yeah, anytime you're doing trick plays in your red zone, it's probably not going to go well. They just let you know where they are. He has to get fired. I'm sorry, man. I don't never really call for a coach to get fired, but I think there has to be a precedent set, and there has to be expectations and standards that have to be set with, especially in the SEC.
Maybe Yellow Woods down to the Bahamas. I mean, they got to get him on the horn. He's got to cut the check. He'll show up eventually. That's how they do. Not his first buyout down there on the plains. That's it for hour number 1 here of Hunt and Hill. We open things up talking about the players-only meeting and how important that is. Hint, hint, it's really not. J.D. Pickell of On3 Sports, always great on Wednesdays with us. He was here at 1:15, kind of breaking down the entire SEC. Played some over-under as well. Go to 1045ESPN.com/Hunt and Hill. You can catch our stuff on demand. You can also go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We'd love it if you on YouTube would like and subscribe to our channel. We would very much appreciate that. Always, as we tell you, Sunshine Quality Solutions, bringing you the opening hour each and every Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. SEC Power Rankings coming at you at 2:30. Those have got a little bit of a shakeup to them. We're going to talk a little Heisman odds at 2:15. We will crank things up here in about 6 minutes with Adam Spark of the Knoxville News Sentinel. He's going to join us to talk about the Tennessee Vols. Come back with us after Sports Center. It's hour 2 of Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Colts have ruled out running back Jonathan Taylor tomorrow night against the Broncos because of an ankle injury. It'll be the first game he misses in his college or pro career because of injury. Signs continue to point toward quarterback Cooper Rush starting a fourth consecutive game for the Cowboys Sunday against the Rams. Starter Dak Prescott did not practice today. He was with the rehab group. Coach Mike McCarthy said Prescott had a good visit with the doctor yesterday. The next step in his recovery from that thumb fracture is to get enough strength in his hand to throw the ball. The Cowboys 3-0 this season with Rush filling in, meaning there's no real pressure for Dak to hurry back from that thumb fracture, notes ESPN's Dominique Foxworth.
I don't understand what it must feel like to be a franchise quarterback for a team and see someone else having that success. I'm sure that drives Dak to want to get back even more, but he needs to understand that right now they got a couple wins in the bank, and the most important thing is that he is healthy for the stretch run because they're a better team than we thought, and the NFC is a little bit up in the air outside of Philadelphia.
Dominique Foxworth on Get Up. 33-year-old receiver Cole Beasley announced he's retiring from the NFL after 11 seasons.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
If the ball came your way, as well off as you guys are, what would you do?
I'm diving, I'm catching it, I'm turning that moment into an NFT.
More from KJ and Max Thursday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2 off and moving here, Hunt and Hill. This Friday, the Baton Rouge Zoo Foundation hosting its 8th annual Brew at the Zoo. Coming out to the zoo from 7 to 10 p.m. Sample dozens of craft beers, along with food from local vendors, plus enjoy some live music from Abby Lee. Purchase your tickets today at brzoobrew.org. Go out to the phone lines now. Adam Sparks covers the Tennessee Vols for the Knoxville News Sentinel. He joins us now. Adam, thanks for your time. How are you?
Real good. Good to be on. How y'all doing?
Doing very well. Thrilled to have you. I know you have not been on the Tennessee beat for 15 years, but you certainly are around that program and around a lot of people that have been there for a long time. Is this as solid as the footing has felt in 15 years since Fulmer won his last East title?
To this point in the season, it is. Now Butch Jones had a couple of good years. Lane Kiffin gave the program hope there for 4 months maybe. But this is the best. This is the best I think Tennessee fans have felt going into October, and I think even more so that I think the expectations are higher now than they've been because they can see the path. If you beat LSU, that's by AP standards, that's 3 ranked wins. They haven't done that in the first 5 games since '98, since their national title year. That they would expect probably to lose to Georgia and Alabama, but Kentucky doesn't look great, and so what looked like maybe an 8-4 season coming into the year could, if you beat LSU, could be 9-3 or 10-2, and that's very realistic. I think LSU is probably the biggest impediment in reaching that. Obviously aside from the Alabama Georgia games.
How much of that optimism is because of Josh Heupel, and how much of it is because of Hendon Hooker?
A little of both. They're sort of a package deal. I'll be curious to see next season when Hooker's gone what that looks like. Because he wasn't even. Hendon Hooker wasn't even originally the starting quarterback last year. Josh Heupel went and got Joe Milton from Michigan out of the transfer portal to start the first couple of games last season. He eventually ended up with Hooker, and that's turned out great. Hendon Hooker, for all the great quarterbacks Tennessee has had, obviously Peyton Manning at the top of the list. Hendon Hooker statistically is the most efficient quarterback in Tennessee history. the next time he throws an interception, I'll be surprised at what everybody else sees him because he just doesn't throw them. Josh Heupel overall has given confidence to this fan base, I think, because they have the best, or at least the fastest working offense in the country. Best is sort of, you put quotes around best, but they're the fastest, they're the most productive, and it's been a long, long time since Tennessee could say they are the best at something in college football.
This LSU pass rush is fourth in the SEC thus far with 13 sacks. How do you think that Tennessee offensive line holds up against this defensive front?
I mean, they're better at pass protection than they are run blocking. I would say they would almost want it the other way around if they could have the druthers, but they're solid protecting the passer. I mean, the tempo helps them a lot because the ball comes out of Hendon Hooker's hand really quickly. They also rely on wearing down defenses because of that tempo, and then Hendon Hooker is really their best runner. And so a lot of those things sort of add up, but they have to compensate a lot because they're solid protecting the passer, but they're not great. And, I think that obviously could be a pretty big factor in this game if they can't protect it.
Adam, as you might imagine, everything that happened in 2019 around here is burned into everybody's brains. So when you hear tightrope surgery, we all know immediately. We go right back to Tua Tagovailoa 2 weeks before that game. LSU and Alabama in 19 had that surgery on his ankle. He played in that game 2 weeks later, but could not have played wide receiver. He was really gimpy. Did throw the football pretty well, though. We know that Cedric Tillman has had that operation. What do you know about him and his availability and potential effectiveness level coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know if – I would put it beneath questionable, so I guess that would be somewhere between doubtful and questionable for this game. I think the thinking is maybe hold him for Alabama next week. Yeah, I do think the difference in position is pretty big factor. It's one thing to have tightrope surgery and have to be a quarterback that has to take a 3-step, 5-step drop. It's another thing to have to run a route and make hard cuts every single play on a high ankle like that. Could he play? Maybe. All the indications that I'm getting is that he's not going to play, and it could happen. They have not ruled him out, but I'll be pretty surprised if he's in uniform at LSU.
How much did they miss him against Florida, and who are the guys that have stepped up or need to step up outside of him?
Well, Ramel Keaton is the guy that stepped forward. There was probably 2 or 3 guys that were all possibilities going into that game. Ramel Keaton is he's really sort of a known quantity. He's just sort of a solid, 4th or 5th year senior, solid backup. Was never a guy that would wow you. But he had his best game. He had the biggest catch of that game. Anybody that saw that game, there was a 99-yard drive that turned that game, and he made an acrobatic diving catch. So he fielded fine. It probably says more for Josh Heupel's offense than it does for Cedric Tillman because they lost arguably one of the best wide receivers in the country, and you really couldn't notice. Now, whether or not they'll be able to do that another game, that remains to be seen. Probably a bigger factor in this is Brew Mccoy, the USC transfer. He was starting the opposite side of Cedric Tillman, but in a lot of formations they moved him into Tillman's spot, and he's a big physical guy that's shown some flashes of what they thought he would be, which was a 5-star player at USC, just sort of coming into his own. They've got to have his best in this game.
You mentioned the offensive line probably pass blocking better than they run block. The Tennessee rushing attack this season, 10th in the SEC through this point in the season. Do you think Tennessee has an avenue where they trust Hendon Hooker and they really can't get a run game going and still come in Death Valley and win this football game?
Yeah, Hooker, like I said, is their best runner. The running backs are solid at best. They're not going to be guys that are going to make a lot of money in the NFL. Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, that's the 2 running backs. They may bring a freshman in, Dylan Sampson, who's really fast, but he hasn't played much, and he's been injured lately. Josh Heupel's whole belief is his offense really doesn't work against good opponents unless he can run. That just opens up everything else in his playbook if he can run the ball. And they've been so far. You'll see them lean a whole lot more on Hendon Hooker. They do more quarterback runs this year. there's always this sort of, balance they have to strike with Hendon Hooker, because they told him all off season, protect your body, don't take hits. He took a ton of hits last year. But then when they need him to make a run, he sticks his nose in there and takes some vicious shots. He never slides. So, do you want him to take hits, or do you want him to protect his body? They're going to have him make big runs in this game to win a game like this.
Chatting with Adam Sparks from Knox News, covers the Tennessee Vols, getting a preview of the Volunteers. Let's go to the defense. We know by now that Anthony Richardson went nuts up there and had a ridiculous game statistically. But I checked the pit box score, and it wasn't like Keaton Slovis threw it all over the yard. What do you make of the Tennessee secondary?
They've always had an issue with mobile quarterbacks breaking contain. I say always, at least since Josh Heupel's been here. Mobile quarterbacks, once they break contain, coverage just breaks down. They've worked on that for the past few weeks. They've worked on that going into the Florida game. Obviously, it made little to no difference because he threw for 453 yards. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a little different, but he's still the same skill set, right? He gets out and makes plays with his feet. He extends plays. And, on one hand, you can say, well, Tennessee has faced that, and so maybe they're better prepared for it. But also what I saw didn't look like they could do much with it. They've lost one of their starting corners. He's out for the year. That was already their weakest position. I'll be interested to see how the pass rush is in this game, because against Richardson, there was all this talk in the week before that do not overrun him. Stay in your lanes. It's almost more important to be in your lanes and to keep him contained than it is to overrun him to try to get a sack. And so in the Florida game, you saw guys sort of creeping up into the pocket rather than going full bore, and that can keep him in the pocket at times, but it didn't get sacked. And so I'll be curious to see how they handle Daniels with that same approach.
When you see the issues with the mobile quarterbacks and the big plays and busts, is it more of a mental assignment deal with the bust, or they just don't have players good enough to run that with receivers that long?
A little of both. They're not a good man coverage team. They prefer zone, and that's mostly just because they don't have lockdown corners. I know there at LSU it's pretty routine to put corners into the NFL in the high rounds. That's not something that has happened a lot at Tennessee the last few years. Even when they recruit guys, they tend to say, we don't recruit corners, we don't recruit safeties, we recruit defensive backs, and then we just see sort of where they fit in. Well, that's something that a team says when you can't find five-star corners, that you rely on versatility. And that's what they have. They have a lot of guys that play zone. There are two starting corners in this game. One of them is a first-year starter. The other one is also a first-year starter because he was a safety last year. They've got a nickel that played safety. They've got a transfer safety that played nickel at Georgia Tech. They've just got a lot of, odd pieces all put together, and you see guys that aren't necessarily always in their natural positions. And so when the play breaks down, it's not something where they can just latch onto a receiver and run with him, because they're so used to playing zone, and they're also not used to playing the position that they're in.
He is Adam Sparks, covers the Tennessee Vols for the Knoxville News Sentinel. Safe travels down to Baton Rouge, Adam. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you so much. He does a great job. He was on the Vanderbilt beat. We talked to him a couple of times when LSU played Vanderbilt up there in 19 and 20, and now over in Knoxville covering the Vols. And that's probably a fun team to cover. They're probably pretty fun to watch. If you're scoring a bunch of points and giving up a lot of points, you don't care who wins. That's pretty fun to watch week in and week out. I want to remind you to check out dropbiscuit.com. Browse our growing library. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to Pop's Fame, You Talking to Me, For the People, Well Stated, or what other Southern flavored audio biscuit you fancy. That's dropbiscuit.com. All right, still got 45 minutes to go here on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill. When we come back, new Heisman odds are out. Where is Hendon Hooker in those odds? We'll talk about that next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction, reliableroofingbr.com. And on Instagram, they do a great job of shooting out videos, putting out some pictures on Instagram at Reliable Roofing LLC.
Yeah, so I have to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
We got to take care of our roofs down here. If you're trying to sell your home, you need to take care of it. You're trying to insure your home, you need to take care of it. we got wind issues down here, and we know that Reliable Roofing, happy to come give you an inspection, happy to do a repair, happy to do a replacement. They will work with your insurance carrier if you need to, and if your insurance carrier is leaving you and you need someone to come check it out and make sure that your roof is up to par, that when the new carrier comes onto your house, they're happy with it, Reliable Roofing and Construction can help you out. And every single job they do when they put a new roof on, 5-year labor warranty. 5 years on that labor warranty. They give you the highest quality of shingle. They give you great shingle options. And again, that 5-year labor warranty. Check out the website, reliableroofingbr.com. reliableroofingbr.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah! Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Lsu for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Lsu a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's give away some tickets. Sound good to y'all? Sounds good to me. I know we got the morning game at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and a lot of people are cranky about it, but it does open up your evening. You want to spend some time with the family, watch football, that's great. You want to go out to dinner, that's great as well. But I got tickets. Mid-South Arena Cross, the greatest arena cross in the South, and SSR present the Battle in the Bayou. You can bring the kids to this exhilarating, family-friendly event this coming Saturday at Lamar Dixon. It all goes down at 7 o'clock. You can register to win an SSR pit bike For the full schedule, visit MidSouthArenaCross.com. It's brought to you by SSR and the Ascension Paris Tourism Commission. If you want to go to Mid-South Arena Cross Saturday night at Lamar Dixon, I got 2 tickets to give away right now. We're going to start talking about Heisman Trophy. You call Casey, 499-1045. 499-1045 is the number. First caller, Casey will take down your name and information. We will get you those tickets for Saturday night. We're going to do this tomorrow and Friday as well. But first caller for Arena Cross tickets, we'll get them right now. So fire away, 499-1045. Heisman odds out on FanDuel. I was checking them out today, Jeremy, and the favorite is C.J. Stroud currently. I think that's probably not all that surprising, being where he plays and the position he plays. He's going to put up huge numbers. He has. He's going to win a lot of football games. He has. And he is the favorite. Kalen Williams is second at plus 500. Stroud's plus 150. And Hendon Hooker is third at plus 1,400. I think that value is awesome. You consider they're playing in Tiger Stadium this weekend. You consider they're playing Alabama coming up. You consider they're playing Georgia. It feels statistically in what they're trying to do and the pace they're playing on offense, a little Joe Burrowish. Now, their defense is not even close to what LSU's was that year. There were NFL guys all over LSU's defense. This Tennessee team is not in that conversation. But in terms of statistics and opportunities, you go to Tuscaloosa, you go to Tiger Stadium in Tuscaloosa and win, and you go to Tiger Stadium and beat Alabama in Tennessee next week. I think he's the favorite to win the Heisman. And right now, he's third at plus 1,400. That value seems pretty good to me.
He definitely has the avenue to say they're going to do it.
Yeah, that's
I think
different.
we got to see a lot more football because, they got a tough road. I mean, you got to come to Death Valley, like you said. You got Alabama next week. You still got Kentucky down the road. And then you still got Georgia. Those are big-time games. But like you said, with those opportunities, you go out there and play well, not turn it over, and kind of just do what you've been doing for the past 2 football seasons. I think doing it in the SEC, I think now more than ever, he's going to shoot up. Those odds are definitely going to go back in Vegas' favor if he plays that well. I just don't see it. I think, once they start playing, Alabama, Georgia, even Kentucky, and even if things go extremely right, you may have to see Alabama again. So I wouldn't do it. And I think, I like the safer pick, which is why the odds are that way. I think C.J. Stroud's schedule, what they're going to play this season, it's just about laughable what they did to Wisconsin last week. He's just going to throw for 1,000,000 yards and have a bunch of touchdowns. And we've kind of seen those outliers where, RG3 can win a Heisman, Johnny Manziel can win a Heisman. But for the most part, it's normally the best player on the best team. And I think, Ohio State probably has that avenue, especially with Bryce Young banged up a little bit here.
Now, if I'm looking for value, I think I can talk myself into this one, unfortunately. Bryce Young's hurt. He may not play. What happened when he was hurt in the second half against Arkansas? Jahmyr Gibbs ripped off 2 60-plus yard touchdown runs. You think they're going to run the ball a little bit on Saturday? He's plus 2,000.
Yeah.
If they start to lean on him until Bryce Young gets back, he can get some name recognition. It's primetime CBS this week against A&M. He goes for 200. I'm trying to talk myself out of Stroud, and if I have to, and I got an injury to Bryce Young, Jahmyr Gibbs all of a sudden becomes a little more attractive. I'm thinking you might like that pick at plus 2,000 better than Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I like it a lot more. And that was kind of my dark horse Heisman before the season started. And then kind of when you got the season started, they're airing the football out. They're passing the ball with Bryce Young. I thought, Gibbs would be a lot more involved in the run game, but he's been involved in the passing game all year. And then you pair that, with Bryce going out, and now you can get him going in the run game. Now, value, I can get behind the running back at Alabama with Saban not trusting, the backup to really pass the football. He's going to get a ton of looks. And I thought watching him at Georgia Tech, that's just a bad football program, and he's just lighting the world on fire. He's a really talented kid. Not many times you get the 5-star to commit to Georgia Tech, but he's a very talented runner, and he has speed to burn. So, yeah, if I had a little some $100, I may throw it down a little something on my boy Gibbs.
Blake Corum, the running back at Michigan, got off to such a great start last year. He was on fire through the first month. He ran for 111 on Western Michigan and a touchdown. And then the next week they played in primetime against Washington, and he went for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns and 21 carries. Then he got hurt. So he's come back this year and has been really impressive once again at Iowa, who, yes, they're laughable on offense. Their defense is still pretty decent. He ran for 133 yards and a touchdown on 29 carries. He's 12th nationally in yards per carry. He's 6th in yards per game on the ground. Number 4 in total rushing yards. He's got the most touchdowns in the country at 10. And Michigan seems to have turned a little bit of a corner. The win over Ohio State, getting to the playoffs was really important, and they're starting to handle their business a little bit better with the lesser teams in the Big 10. Yes, if you're Jim Harbaugh, your ultimate legacy is going to be, what did you do against Ohio State? But before you can consistently compete with them, you got to start making sure you beat Iowa, you beat Northwestern, you beat Purdue, because those are the ones that are going to trip you up, and they're not doing that right now.
Yeah, no, I don't see that avenue for them.
They're going to have to go undefeated and beat Ohio State.
Yeah, that's going to be just so difficult to do. I think they slip up along the way somewhere. I know that team last year was just so talented. When you look at the defense and all the talent they had on that defense, I kind of think that defense is kind of taking a step back. And the level of competition they played so far just really isn't that great. So, if anything, I'm not taking the value there. I just think, if they do happen to go beat Ohio State and that happens again back-to-back years, which I think is just very, very unlikely, he's going to have a great, great season all year long. And if you can do that, then yeah, but the likelihood of that happening, I just don't feel great about that.
If I gave you a crisp 100, where would you be most likely to put it, considering the odds, considering everything? Stroud at plus 150, Caleb Williams plus 500, Hooker plus 1,400, Gibbs plus 2,000, Stetson Bennett plus 2,000.
Guess I don't like to make money, so I got to go with C.J. Stroud. I got to go. I don't like money, so I'll go with the safe bet. Maybe I take $100.
If he's listening, just drove his car off the road. He's not gonna like that one bit.
Hey man, safe than sound. I like to sleep good at night.
I'm trying to think of what I would do. Bennett really had an opening after that South Carolina game, and their last 2 weeks have been so bad. I mean, it can change it. It's September.
Yeah.
So I mean, when he was playing, so it can change. But the win may have come out of the sails there a little bit. I want to talk myself into Hooker, but hopefully LSU throws a huge wrench into that in a couple of days. And I don't know that I can talk myself into Gibbs. So I'd probably put it on Caleb Williams if I had to try to get that extra $350. But I don't know how awesome I would feel about my prospects there. Look, they could, but that defense is iffy to say the least, and we'll see if anybody cares about what goes on out west, since Reggie and Matt hadn't been out there for about 20 years. So it's been a while since we focused our attention out there. So that's kind of a look at where things are from the Heisman race. We'll do a little bit more of that week in and week out as the season continues to progress and guys have opportunities. And certainly this weekend, I think big opportunity for Hendon Hooker in a big. Well, they're on ESPN right after game day, and it's in Tiger Stadium. That catches people's attention. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs has a big opportunity this week with his quarterback very likely not playing. So maybe something to consider there as well. All right, it's about that time. We'll come back and we will let you know what we think about our SEC Power Rankings. That's next on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com. Not difficult to figure out what they do. They do bathrooms and closets, from remodels to just helping you maximize or make sure you're efficient in the space that you have. You don't have to up and move to enjoy your home and feel like you've got something brand new. Let One Bath and Closets optimize your current space. David Duvall has been in this business for 3 decades, redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. They're licensed contractors. They can do everything from knocking out a wall and open things up to just, again, helping you use your space more efficiently. I'll tell you this. They want to help you out. If you call David and his crew and tell them that Hunt and Hill sent you, 30% off your closet remodel. That is 30% off of that closet remodel if you tell them that Hunt and Hill sent you. The website is onebathandclosets.com. Onebathandclosets.com. They promise they're not going to be taking shortcuts. They're not going to be coming back to make sure they fix something that went wrong. No. They'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. It's One Bath and Closets. The website again, onebathandclosets.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for...
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll take a closer look at the Seattle Seahawks. Russ Mitchell joins us. Overrated, underrated. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We're jam-packed. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Checking the Twitter feed here, Luke Johnson, who will join us tomorrow to talk Saints, says, did not see Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, P.J. Williams, Calvin Throckmorton, or Peyton Turner at practice today. Alvin Kamara was there, looked like he was moving around pretty well. Not sure if that means anything. It's what Luke added to that tweet. So, look, we'll talk to Luke a little bit tomorrow. Matt, maybe no more on this channel, but not a great look out there at Saints practice today, as they are really struggling to stay healthy. All right, time to do some SEC power rankings, as we do every single Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. I'll start things off, Mr. Hill, and I will keep Georgia at the number 1 spot. I know they have not played well for the last 2 weeks, but look, they held Missouri and Kent State under 300 yards. They turned the ball over. They turned it over 3 times against Kent State. They turned it over 2 times against Missouri. You got to clean that up. Your defense is still really good. I mean, those 2 teams aren't any good, but it's not like there's some glaring weakness other than you're turning the football over. They got to clean that up. I still think they're the best team in the league. Alabama has scored 242 points. That is the most in the SEC by 47. They have allowed 55. That is the second best in the SEC to Georgia's 54. So they're pretty solid. I know that Bryce Young is out. We'll see what the severity of that is. I don't expect him to play on Saturday, but I still think they're the second best team in the league. I've got Tennessee at number 3. When does Cedric Tillman come back? Based on what Adam Sparks just told us to lead off this hour, probably not this week. And our team's going to continue to feast on this secondary. I don't know that Pitt necessarily did to a degree, but Adam Sparks said it's these running quarterbacks that have caused so much problems, and certainly Anthony Richardson was that, and Jaden Daniels will be coming up on Saturday. So I still think Tennessee is number 3, and I've got Ole Miss at 4. They're allowing 11.8 points per game. They're running the ball really well. And as we mentioned last week in this segment, and we will continue to mention over the next 2 weeks, their next two games are at Vanderbilt and home against Auburn. They should win those two and be undefeated coming to Tiger Stadium, which would probably mean it'll be a day game. But I've got the Revs at 4. So I got Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, and Ole Miss as my top 4.
Okay, no quarrels with that. With me, even without the quarterback, even with the day-to-day situation, still rolling with the tie number 1. I thought last week, I think going to Arkansas is just a lot more difficult to go to Missouri with my boy Drinkwitz. I don't know how much I feel great about that. So, yeah, Alabama number 2 in the SEC in rushing yards right now, which is, to me, when you think about Bryce Young at quarterback, to still find your way, second in the league in rushing is just extremely impressive. So, yeah, I got Alabama number 1 still. 2, I got Georgia, of course. A little sleepy these last 2 weeks. Not the best brand of football, especially from that defense, which you would think, be lights out. That's kind of Kirby's specialty. But, the defense has kind of, been a little sleepy. So, hopefully, if for Georgia, they change that around. But for right now, I got them at 2. 3, I'm in lock and key with you with Tennessee at 3. That offense is just – it's incredible, man. When you got a quarterback that's not turning the ball over and you're just that efficient – week in and week out, it's very, very difficult. Even with a bad defense to beat that football team, you just figure, they're going to outscore everyone. And then 4, my man, Lane, man, you got to rock with my man. The number 1 rushing attack in the SEC. And that just goes to show you, man, he's going to find a way, to figure out a way to get that offense rolling, get that offense running right. And they got 2 really good runners in Evans and Junkins. They can really run the football. So I got Ole Miss at 4.
All right, we're locked up there. 5th, I've got Kentucky. Look, they've got to find a way to get Barry and Brown the ball. He's taking kickoffs and he's running them all over the field. They've been without the explosive playmaker that Wan'Dale Robinson was. Levis still has a good arm, but if your running game's going to be decent, you need something on the outside. Barry and Brown is the explosive guy. Get him the football somehow, some way. I've got them at 5th. Arkansas, I've got them at 6th. They're 1-2 in the league. Their next 3 games are at Mississippi State, at BYU, at Auburn. They've got a bye in there before Auburn. Their next 3 games are on the road. Plus, their quarterback's a little woozy. Sam Pittman was on the teleconference earlier today, said, yeah, he hadn't practiced yet. He's out there in the meetings, but if you don't practice on Wednesday, you may not play. So Arkansas going to Starkville with no KJ Jefferson sounds a little iffy to me. Then you'd have to go to at BYU, at Auburn, which they probably won't have a new coach by then, but still a bunch of road games. So what was really promising through a couple of weeks for Arkansas with a really nice start with Cincinnati and then South Carolina, it seems like they're leaking a little bit of oil. So I've got them at 6. I've got Florida at 7th. Over the last 2 games, Anthony Richardson's been pretty good. Total of 32 of 54. That's 59%, which is iffy. But 693 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. If you add in the 18 carries for 107 rushing yards, in 2 games, he has gone for a total of 800 yards of total offense and 6 touchdowns. They're still a work in progress over there, but he's got the ability to chew up yards in a big way. He certainly did it against Tennessee, and then obviously did it in the game against Eastern Washington on Sunday. So Florida, I've got them at number 7. Number 8, I've got your Fighting Tigers of LSU. We'll see what they're made of coming up on Saturday. Nice win over Mississippi State. That still counts for something. And you found out whatever that was at Auburn to get a win. I still think everybody has got some significant flaws after the top 4, and really Ole Miss is not perfect, and Tennessee's got issues on defense, but you're talking about some significant flaws here moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, we're totally different in these next 4 teams here, and I think that's just what happens with the drop-off after Tennessee. It's like you can pick out a flaw with all these football teams, but you know me, guys. This is why the Bayou 4 chat loves me so much. I got LSU at 5, man. I'm pumping my Tigers, man.
17-0 at Auburn.
We won. You got to win the game. You play to win the game.
5 passing yards.
Play to win the game. You ran the ball. You got the job done. 4 turnovers. You don't like the strip sack, BJ Ojolari?
I did like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So, yeah, I got my Tigers. That is alarming, though. But like I said, with these teams.
He's got LSU at 5.
With these teams, you already beat Mississippi State, who is a ranked team this week. So, yeah, I got my Tigers at 5. Kentucky, I got at 6. I really did like that team before that Ole Miss game. I really thought they let one get away. You can't continue to drive the ball down the field and just give the ball to the other team. And, I think Levis has played well this season, but I think that was his worst performance of the year. You took that safety, which was a bad safety in that football game, and then you take the strip sacks at the end.
2 of them.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's just absolutely bad. And I thought with getting Rodriguez back in that lineup, I thought that'd be a huge lift for them, and they kind of ride that to a victory. But I still, think, they're a well-coached football team, and they're not just going to fall off the face of the earth. So I got Kentucky at 6. 7, I got Mississippi State, number 1 passing attack in the SEC, most passing touchdowns. Rogers, got it together. No, it wasn't the world beaters last. I guess they weren't world beaters last week. They kind of played the School of Sisters of the Poor last week. So, but yeah, so I got Mississippi State at 7. 8, I got Arkansas. I was just a lot more higher on Arkansas going into this year. I'm not as impressed, man. I'll be honest with you. I thought Jefferson kind of taking a step back. I thought he played a lot better, last year. And I think having Traylon Burks had a big piece to do with that, having that number 1 receiver on the outside. But not the Arkansas football program I thought. So I got Arkansas at 8.
All right. Arkansas is leaking oil, and they could be in a bad way here in 3 weeks when we're doing this exercise if you don't go on the road and take care of some business. I've got Mississippi State at number 9. I say this as a real compliment. It sounds like it's not, but it is a compliment. They're the most boring team to talk about in this whole thing because they are exactly what they are. They got a real good quarterback. They run their offense. They got a solid defense, and they're not loaded with pros. They're not going to go out there and lay an egg. They're not going to spring a monster upset, in my opinion. You could say that in the last week was a monster upset. They were favored in the game. So they're just what they are, and that's what they're going to be under Mike Leach. I've said it 3 weeks in a row now. And they're right around 9th, 8th, 7th in the SEC. They're going to win 8 games more often than not, and that's a really nice job at Mississippi State. So I've got them at 9. I've got A&M at 10. Look, back to Haynes King this week. No Anaya Smith this week. Headed to Tuscaloosa. That's bad. That's basically, that's...
Wait, so you're down on the Aggies, man? What's going on
I
here?
had the Aggies down there last week. Look... This is not even a knife to a gunfight. This is bringing like a sucker that you've pulled the top off of that's like wet and soggy to a gunfight. There's nothing you can do here that's going to go well. They're going to get smoked on Saturday. Number 11, I've got South Carolina. They've fallen totally off the radar the last 3 weeks because they had those 2 weeks in a row with Arkansas and Georgia where they got a lot of eyeballs. And in the last couple of weeks, they've played Charlotte and South Carolina State. Look, they allowed 92 points to Georgia and Arkansas. That defense is not very good. Rattler is fine. He makes a lot of bad decisions and makes a couple throws. They're just not very good. I still think Auburn is really bad. I've got them with. Look, in the second half of the last 3 games, that's 6 quarters of football. They've scored 6 total points. They didn't score in the second half on LSU. They didn't score in the second half on Missouri. They scored 6 on Penn State. You're going in the locker room and you're coming out, and your offense can't do anything. You got 2 nice running backs, some athleticism at quarterback. You can't score a touchdown. That's just awful. They're so bad. Missouri is terrible. I know you threw up a nice fight against Georgia last week. You're up 22-12 against Georgia with 10 minutes left. You can't make one play. Can't make one play on offense or one play on defense to win the game. You have every chance to beat Auburn like 6 times. You can't make one play that makes you a bad team. You're bad, and I literally don't have a single note next to Vanderbilt because I'm not going to talk about them very much. They're 14.
All right, I can agree with the Vandy talk. Yeah, we'll save that for maybe a next century because I don't think they'll ever be good. But okay, so number 9, I got Florida. AR, man, he's an interesting prospect when you look at him. You really kind of don't know which version of him you're going to get, but he's kind of got a little momentum going in the passing game. I'm not going to go as far as pushing Napier right now, but, AR, you got to pay attention to that kid. 10, I actually have Auburn. I wish I could have them way lower than this, but they're just not good, man. It's 10? Bad. Yeah, I do. You'll get it when I keep going down this list.
You got A&M probably 15. So you got Vandy, you got South Carolina, you got Missouri.
Actually, I bumped Missouri up a little bit this week. I thought they showed some heart and some grit last week. Okay. Didn't get the job done, so I got them at 11 because I'll tell you what, the team I have at 12, if they would have went to Missouri last week, they probably would have lost by 3 touchdowns. So I got the Aggies at 12. I wish I could have them a little lower, but I just can't go there right now. And it's just so glorious, man. It's going to be so back-to-back weeks of just glorious television on the weekends that I'm going to get to tune into. So, yeah, I get to watch them just get absolutely crushed again. And hopefully Haynes King is that quarterback. Haynes King for press. My Texas account. Check me out on that.
The nation is going to get an eye full of that on Saturday night. And I've seen more of it than I care. It is a sad sad state of affairs when he's out there.
Will Anderson coming after Haynes King. Have fun with that.
Look,
Haynes.
I mean, J.D. McCall we had on earlier was like, I don't mean to like talk bad about the kid. I mean, and I'm not like, I'm sure he's a great kid. He just throws the ball to the other team once every 10 throws. That's not good.
Look, I'm a great guy, but I can't swing a golf club to save my life.
Look.
So, just we're good at what we're good at, right? So, yeah, Aggies, you're at 12, and I hope you stay there forever. And it's 13, South Carolina, just beamer ball. It's just not been much beamer ball, man. They took a step back. They showed some heart last year, but I was expecting bigger things, man. It's just you get the Heisman candidate, quote unquote, on your roster, but it's just I don't know how long Beamer can stick around if this thing doesn't turn around. And you already said it, man. They're back where they belong.
Y'all
hit the total. Y'all hit the total for me. I tried to give y'all some love. I tried to build y'all some momentum, go up the polls a little bit, but yeah, Vandy.
Hit the win total.
Yeah, hang out down there.
Can they beat Missouri this year?
Oh, wow, they better.
I mean, that's their only.
Because now what's going to happen is we're just going to do 13 teams each week, and then we'll just cut off the last one, and it's just going to be no pre-point.
We'll have it recorded like Moscona's like disclaimer at the end of the. Well, at number 13, we got Missouri, and then Casey just plays down. And what do we get in Vanderbilt?
Yeah, that's what they're going to turn into. You got to beat Missouri. You have to, please.
We'll come back and wrap things up on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Football season is underway, so now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's right, free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 145 ESPN.
$1,000 is a good deal. Saints are a 5.5-point choice this week with Seattle coming to town. The over/under on that one is 45.5. If you're not feeling confident in your Hoodats, and you want to take Seattle on the money line, that's coming back at plus 194. Place that bet on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet. Promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues and non-withdrawable free bet. Expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who knows a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style. Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Lsu for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Lsu a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available
available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
Jimmy out for the Wednesday edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at City Slice Pints and Pizza on Chine Street. Last day of the MLB regular season. We got a college football game and picks from all of our handicappers. Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, 6 to 8 p.m. City Slice on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, take it or leave it to end up every single show on Wednesdays. I'll start with one off the beaten path, just surfaced. The moron who jumped out of the stadium and ran around the field and got smoked by Bobby Wagner is apparently lawyering up, and he's going to sue. So getting drunk, running all over the field, getting hit by an all-pro, and then calling your lawyer, take it or leave it.
I'm leaving that, man. Like, what are we doing? This is like the people who like try to rob someone and they break in their house and slip and fall.
Trespass.
And they try to they trespass and then try to sue the homeowners for falling down in their house. Like, this is giving that energy, because what are we doing? Like, no, man. No, you're not winning that lawsuit, man. He's gonna drag it out.
Hit me. Assault.
There's gonna be a judge that laughs in that guy's face, and I can't wait to see it. It's terrible. What are we doing? All right, here. Adam Schefter of ESPN.com, he made a list of players on the trade block, and the Atlanta Falcons middle linebacker, Deion Jones, he made the list. Are you taking or leaving? The Saints put together a package for Debo to New Orleans.
I'm going to leave that. The Falcons aren't going to be sending anything the Saints way, and the Saints don't exactly have a ton of draft assets they need to be parting with because they don't have a first-round pick. So I don't know if that fits great, but I hope Debo gets out of there because they're not very good. He's fun to watch. Kansas City Star, they pulled no punches when it came to quarterback Patrick Mahomes, saying he only cares about how he looks and not his team. I got a lot of backlash from his family. Patrick Mahomes only cares about how he looks. Take it or leave it.
I got to leave that. I know he's always got the mohawk going, the sleeves on, the fancy Adidas shoes, but this is need a little backstory to this, man. I don't hear much teammates bashing Patrick or the coaches kind of coming down on him. Like, you normally hear that stuff coming from Green Bay, so I got to leave this. I don't think
Patrick's... Like they're mistaking him with Jackson Mahomes. He's the one that cares what he looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, man. And I think, too, like, he's spreading the ball around to all of his receivers. I can see if he's, like, throwing it to Kelsey every play, and it's like, no, I'm just want Kelsey to get it, and I'm going to look cool. Like, I don't know, man. Whoever wrote this, like, I need more, because this is just, I think this is kind of character assassination on my boy Mahomes going on right here. All right, here. Mike Asiska of CBS Sports. He believes the New York Yankees cannot afford to lose the AL home run record holder Aaron Judge to free agency this upcoming spring, with him projected to make over $300 million in this next contract. Are you taking or leaving? No hope in the Cubs front office to make a move for the potential Triple Crown winner.
I will take that very gladly. The Ricketts family is not spending $300 million on anybody. They have plenty. They're just not going to spend it on anybody. So the Cubs will not be in the mix for that. Hopefully Correa, hopefully Trey Turner, hopefully Carlos Rodon. Got to go find some guys, but I'm encouraged by some of the pitching that I saw late in the season. So they won't get Judge. I'd love it if they did. That'd be awesome. But somebody's going to spend a huge, huge chunk of change on that dude. Nice timing, betting on yourself and hitting 62 homers. So that's well done. He's sitting out tonight, so his season is done. Last one here. After missing the entire season in 2021-22, Zion Williamson played in the preseason game last night, scored 13 points in 15 minutes of action. Pels, playoff lock. Take it or leave it.
Got to take it, man. I got to take it. I know this is like blasphemous for all the trash I talked about the Pels last year, and then now my Lakers are probably going to not even make the play-in tournament. So, yeah, I got to pump the Pels, man. Yeah, I got to get my Jackson Hayes jersey on, pump some Pels around here. They look good, man. They got a nice roster, got some depth over there, like their young coach. Everything my Lakers just don't have. They got draft picks. Wonder where they got those from. And
lots of draft picks.
Yeah, so, yeah, man. Looks like it's looking good for the Pels. Yeah, Zion looks great, too. Looks like he laid off the gumbo and the jambalaya this offseason. So, got to cheer for Zion.
Oh, God. Speaking of that, first of all, there were a lot of Pluckers people at Pluckers last night at Sports Trivia watching the Pels. They were fired up. So hopefully this town gets into the Pels a little bit this year. Second of all, you're talking about laying off the jambalaya and gumbo. I'm about to go get blood work done at 4 o'clock. This is going to be the worst. The results are going to be terrible. My wife's going to look at them. I'm going to get her talking to. It's not going to be good, but you know what?
Yeah,
got to make some changes.
Yeah, I had to do that same test when I got to New England, and let's say the results weren't great with that Cincinnati diet I was eating. Eating that good old spaghetti and cheese and all that good stuff out there. It didn't come back really great.
I want a slice of pizza. Have a couple of drinks. I might need a burger now and then. A ribeye. It's going to be a sad scene at the Palmer House later this evening. Maybe a full report coming tomorrow. Probably not. I'll be lucky if I even make it to tomorrow after these results come in. But that's where we are headed at the moment. That'll do it for a Wednesday show. We cranked things up, talking about the players-only meeting. J.D. Pickell was of On3 Sports with us at 1:15, kind of talking about the SEC as a whole. Played a little over-under. Then we had Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel talking about Tennessee. He had a lot of interesting things to say about the Vols, I thought, at 2 o'clock. So if you can go catch that. Had a little Heisman talk as well. And as always, our SEC Power Rankings at 2:30. If you missed it, catch it on demand. 1045ESPN.com on the On Demand tab. Hunt and Hill, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Anywhere you catch your audio, you can catch our stuff on demand each and every day. Tomorrow's show, we'll have Luke Johnson. Want a full report of what the Saints are looking like as they get to the back half of the week, getting ready for the Seattle Seahawks. We may look at the Seahawks as well, but we'll really start getting into LSU and Tennessee tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Jimmy Ott's Game Time coming at you 6 to 8. Matt Moscona about to drive you home on After Further Review. See you tomorrow. It's Hunt and Hill.